Welcome to 100 Yards of Football this morning. It's our NFL team preview. Today, we're going to highlight the Cleveland Browns. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. One more time, if you like the video today, please come in and share it. We're getting ready to talk about the Browns explosion. And this video goes to all the Cleveland Browns fans because I got a lot of respect. I love your fan base. One of the best ever in the National Football League. And to my friend, Mr. Eric Gray, because I know you're going to watch the video today, my man. He's one of the most loyal Cleveland Brown fans. When I think about the Cleveland Browns, you always got to think about history, man. You always got to think about that 6-4 team. Frank Ryan, Leroy Kelly, the young man from St. Simons, Athens, Georgia, by way of Syracuse, Jim Brown. That's what you always remember, that 1964 championship. And, of course, the dog pound that had Hanford Dixon, Frank Minifield, Bernie Kosar, Kevin Mack, Ernest Biner. Outstanding times in the 80s. But this team right here, the Cleveland Browns for 2021, is very special. Let me give their head coach, Kevin Sumniski. Don't let me pronounce his name wrong. He's a guy that's special. Came in last year to a team that had a lot of turmoil going back and forth. We know the Browns had talent, but what he did, he took them to the playoffs and they went 11-5. And what he says about the Browns culture now, he don't care about all these expectations. He don't care about nothing. He said the Browns are about their work and they're about embracing that work. So, hey, man, the Browns culture has changed. Let's talk about the quarterback position. Baker Mayfield had an outstanding season in 2020. 26 touchdowns, 9 INTs. But what I liked about him, he got better in the pocket, had better pocket presence, better ability to avoid the rush. So I think the Browns are already very set at the quarterback position because I think Mr. Mayfield is ready to ascend in that same category as Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen. Remember this about this young man. I knew he was going to be very successful because he walked on at Boomer Sooner, the University of Oklahoma, and won the Heisman Trophy. Now, the tree is starting to come from this young man. Let's go back to the running back. Let's go to the running back position with the Cleveland Browns. They got two of the best in the game. 2,300 all-purpose yards between these two. 23 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt is special, versatile, power, speed. Nick Chubb, 1,067 yards rushing. I think he's one of the top 4 backs in the game right now. He's from Cedartown, Georgia. That's about 60 miles from where I'm broadcasting today from Metro Atlanta, Georgia, and Douglasville, Georgia. Cedartown, Georgia, where Nick Chubb is from, is a hard-working little quiet town. And that young man has brought a work ethic in the National Football League. I didn't think he was going to be that good. Now let's get to the receiving position. Jarvis Landry, what more can you say? Production, professional. The man who I think, if he get his head together, can be one of the best that ever played the game. Odell Beckham Jr. Towards ACL last year. True enough, a lot of people, he said some issues, but I tell you what, I love to see him play when he's at a high level because he's a game changer. And if he's healthy, and where the Browns got to the playoffs without him, you know he's going to have a chip on his shoulder, and he can take the top off of defense. And what I heard about Odell Beckham Jr., he's working like crazy in rehab. Then think about this. The two unsung heroes, Rashid Higgins and Donovan People-Jones, can play. And the tight end position is tight. Austin Hooper, Harrison Bryant, and I call him David N out of the U. You talking about firepower? And then you talking about the wide receiver position. They drafted Anthony Schwartz out of Auburn. War Eagle 4.25, and you putting that with that, the Browns are serious now. But why I think they really made a really strong move, why I consider them maybe a legitimate Super Bowl team, the offensive line improved last year. In 2019, Baker Mayfield was sacked 40 times. But last year, he was only sacked 26 times. That's why he improved as a quarterback. The young man out of Alabama, I'm going to call him Mr. Wheels. Not his first name, Mr. Wheels. Showed y'all he can handle that tackle position on that island. And Jake Conlon, that came over from Tennessee, did his thing, and Nick Harris played off the charts. And for you to go to the next level, your offensive line got to be in place. I love everything from Cleveland from an offensive standpoint. And give kudos to Alex Van Pelt. Because after October, that offense started to explode. Now, this is where the Browns, I think, when we talk about Super Bowl teams right now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Cleveland Browns, the Tennessee Titans, the Buffalo Bills, the Baltimore Ravens, this is where you got to get well defensively. Start with the D-line. You went out, Cleveland, you got Malik Jackson. You went out and you got Andrew Billings, who sat out last year due to COVID. Then you went and you taking a chance with Javion Clowney. But I'm going to tell you something about Mr. Clowney. If he's healthy, 50% healthy, he's going to give you a lot of love. And another player that was ridiculed here in Atlanta, granted he's a little bit immature, maybe he needs to really find himself. But when I saw him play at UCLA, he played with effort. Don't sleep on Top McKinley because he's around guys that's going to push him. Then Myles Garrett is in the game. It's one of the best. But this is the thing about Myles Garrett, that I'm going to bring up a very interesting stat, if I can find it right here in my notes. Give me 1 second out there with the D-line. Here you go. In Myles Garrett's career, in September and October, he has 21 sacks in 25 games. But in the months of November and December, he has only 11.5. So that's where hopefully Mr. Billings, Mr. Clowney, Mr. McKinley, they can give him that help. And Mr. Jackson. Remember, Malik Jackson was the mainstay on that Super Bowl team at the defensive tackle position when the Broncos went to the Super Bowl. And remember, he's out of the University of Tennessee. So I know he's got something to prove. Now let's get to the linebacker position. The GM, Andrew Berry, said, you know what? At the linebacker position, I want to have speed. So what they did, they went a little undersized in the draft, but they got production. Tony Fields, 6'7", 222. It's a player tackling off the charts at West Virginia. Then he went out and got the young man from Notre Dame, Jeremiah. I'm going to call him by his two initials. Okay. 6'1", 215, speed. Now, if Jacob Phillips can stay healthy out of LSU and come back, you got 3 linebackers that are legitimate 4-4 guys. And don't think about the young man out of Alabama, Matt Wilson. In the free agent they brought over from Indianapolis, Anthony Walker, out of South Florida by way of Northwestern. He's a tackling machine at 6'1", 236. But the most important key here, if I think the Cleveland Browns, with all the talent they have, the coaching is in place, the city is rocking, Ohio is at a high fever pitch, the secondary has to take it up to the next level. Simply because you're going to be facing Josh Allen. You're going to be facing Patrick Mahomes. You're going to be facing Lamar Jackson. And the secondary's got to be good in coverage. I'm going to start with 3 important points here. Grant Delpit, Denzel Ward, and Greedy Williams has to stay healthy. Denzel Ward, in his 3 years in the league, has missed 3 games at least the time he's been in. That's 9 games in 3 years. Greedy Williams has only played in 20 games. It's missed 20 games. Grant Delpit didn't even play last year, torn Achilles. That's what I think the Browns have to do. But I like what Andrew Berry did, though. He said, I know these guys are talented, but I can't count on that. He went out and got John Johnson III and Troy Hill off the top-rated defense with the LA Rams. Then he drafted a young man out of Northwestern by the name of Greg Newsom that can play bump and run. Let me call it the lock. The lock. He's got the lock. He can lock the door. Then they got Rodney Harrison, who they got in the trade from Jacksonville, who's a player. They secondary. If those players stay healthy and everything comes together, they got people that can lock in the secondary. And to me, that'll be the difference of them moving up and moving in the playoffs and maybe getting to LA. So that being said, I love this Cleveland Browns team. Balanced football team. Kevin Sanaski has taken it to another level. And as he said, I'm not worrying about what they say in the media. I'm worrying about, well, we're going to come to work every day with that lunch pail. You got the quarterback in place and improved from 2019 to 2020 and show you he can play at a high level in Baker Mayfield. You got two of the best running backs in the game. The tandem of Nick Chubb and Mr. Kareem Hunt. You got explosiveness on the outside. If Odell Beckham comes back 70% healthy, with Anthony Schwartz, Rashad Higgins, Donovan People-Jones, and then you just drafted Roy Eagle, Anthony Schwartz. Oh my God. And let me throw another name in there on the defensive side. He got hurt. And he probably was a big difference. Georgia struggled in that game against Florida. But I saw this young man play for 4 years at Georgia before his injury. Richard LeCount III can play. Cleveland's got skill everywhere. They got depth everywhere. And the Browns are looking like the old Browns. 64, Jim Brown, Frank Ryan, Paul Warfield, Gary Collins, the mid-'80s, back-to-back AFC championship games, Hanford Dixon, Frank Minifield, Bernie Kosar, Webster Slaughter, Kevin Mack, Ernest Biner. It's going to be that thing in Cleveland, man. And this is a good football team. Andrew Berry, the GM, one of the youngest in the game, is doing his thing. Cleveland is not the laughing stock no more. They serious, legitimate Super Bowl material. So, my final words about the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to go back to a band that's out of Cleveland. And they had a song that went like this. And the band was the Ohio players. It went like this, and listen real closely because this is how I look at the Cleveland Browns for 2021. O-H-I-O. 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 Ohio. 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 If you like the video today, please comment and share it. And thank you to my producer. He's the youngest member of 100 Yards Football. I call him Babyface Nelson, Mr. Logan Landers. And watch him this evening because he's going to bring up some good college football team previews. We are 100 Yards of Football. Thank you and watching me today. I'm Vincent Turner. One more time. O-H-I-O. O-H-I-O. The Cleveland Browns. Ohio. Ohio. You have a blessed evening.